Welcome everybody to the very last group stage game for Asian Division 2.2 for the Joint League Season number 5. It is going to be Team ImpreZa, who are currently with a standing of 5 and 11, going up against Kingdom, who are standing at 12 and 4. So for Kingdom, if they win even one of the two games here, they will guarantee themselves a spot in the Division 1 and 2 playoffs together with Loons. So it's probably not that hard, or at least on paper it will not be that hard for them to grab that one win, but maybe ImpreZa have been preparing for this. Of course, as you can see, both sides are operating with a couple of stand-ins, unfortunately, but that's just the sad truth of Dota, especially Southeast Asia. Well, I'm not gonna say that it's Southeast Asian specialty, but it's maybe a little bit more so than in other regions, but every region is kind of screwed in terms of stability. In any case, we're HeflaTV, I'm Couchor, I'm gonna be joined by Danny. Are you here? Is your PC fine?
Everything's fine. I'm hoping nothing decides to implode during the cast, so I'm going to be very careful with it. I'm going to be very gentle, and then hopefully it's not going to bite. But I'm actually really glad to be casting again. You do not realize how difficult it is to live without a laptop, especially in the kind of age that we are in, where everyone has some sort of device to connect to the internet. So, well, no more love affair with my Xbox One, I'm afraid. Back to casting.
I thought maybe you did like something educational, started reading or something. Nope, Xbox.
Yeah, no, Xbox. Yeah, I was playing Evolve, but it was very fun. But that age, it's going to come to an end, and we are going to start off with a Batrider pick here from Team ImpreZa. So we have a pretty solid offlaner already right off the, pun intended, the bat. A lot of pick-up potential with the Batrider as well. And the great thing with the Batrider is that if he's going to have a difficult time in lane, he can always rotate into the jungle, just finish up some stacks with the Firefly and Napalm stacks.
Yeah, it's really a massive bonus to have that kind of an ability, really, to go into the jungle if it's bad for you. But of course, since the Vengeful is not banned out, it does mean the Kingdom, if they do so wish, can quite easily pick it up as a, like, sort of a counter to the Batrider. Sometimes when the Vengeful isn't level 11 yet, or doesn't have like a 4 step or something, you may not get quite in range for the swap even, but it's still pretty, like, threatening for the Batrider, and may even make it so that the Batrider wants to jump the Vengeful Spirit, not anybody else.
Yeah, that's always going to be an impending threat. Oh my god. No! Why?
Did your Dota crash or something? Okay, so the call ended after no and why. Some players are disconnected, but none of them are the drafters for now. But Kingdom, after long consideration, do go for the Vengeful Spirit. I have no idea what happened to her, to Danny. But probably she's gonna give me a call back if she reappears. Oh wow. That was like somebody kind of broke into her house and kidnapped her. It's like, no! Skype call dead, although she's not offline in Skype. I don't know what's happening. In any case, Shadow Fiend will be the secondary ban to go with that Vengeful, or pick rather, to go with that Vengeful Spirit. So it's just a really solid combination in general. Double sources of minus armor means for easy Roshan's. Of course, people just take in general a lot more damage from physical abilities, or just attacks that is. On Shadow Fiend, not only does he provide a lot of physical damage output, also of course that magical, with the triple Shadow Raises, with the Requiem of Souls, you can just 100 to 0 so many heroes, especially early on. So Team ImpreZa, are they maybe gonna try to pick up something that could survive Shadow Fiend, or at least is a decent like BKB carrier, for example? Although so far, maybe secondary support, Lion still in the pool if they want to go for that one. Just Blink Hex, Finger of Death, one hero down and just take it from there. Zeus. But whoa, they're going for a second big Zeus instead. Okay then, is this a support Zeus? Do they want to run the Zeus mid lane up against Shadow Fiend? Or I have a hard time just figuring it out. Of course, Zeus in a support role maybe isn't the worst kind of hero. Or of course, it being only a second pick, they still have plenty of time to kind of readapt their roles if need be. And well, Team ImpreZa, third ban about to come. And probably we are gonna have Danny coming back later on. Just laptop restarted out of nowhere, I think. So in a couple of minutes, she should be back in action here. But ImpreZa, their turn to ban here. I suppose like something like a bristleback wouldn't be too horrible. Even an axe still in the pool as well could quite easily get picked up by either side here. What other heroes? Juggernaut would be decent-ish for, I guess, both teams. Juggernaut can always work. Just a strong hero. If it's for Kingdom, it's just gonna make Roshan even easier for them, because not only would they have lots of minus armor, they would also, of course, get that healing ward. But Juggernaut, as I talk about him, he does get banned out. Oh man. No Juggernaut for us. A little bit sad. Juggernaut, to me, isn't like is definitely not the most boring hero to see. For example, I'd rather see a Juggernaut than the anti-mage that did get banned out now by Kingdom. So, with the way teams have been banning or starting the second ban phase, kind of expecting them to ban out even more cores, maybe even take out the Medusa. Of course, Kingdom, having banned out an anti-mage, Medusa may be a little bit more likely for them to get picked up, so ImpreZa may want to ban that out. As for Kingdom themselves, what hero would they even be afraid of at this point in time? Maybe a Spectre, quite possibly, considering that they have the Thunder God's Wrath, Battle Rider can jump in. So it's like a semi-global initiation style. I'm just trying to blow up one person completely. But Team ImpreZa themselves, banning out the Spirit Breaker, they go to support for Kingdom. As for Kingdom, banning out a Tinker of all heroes. That is a hero that I'm not too sure how threatening it is. Of course, Kingdom, maybe they don't plan to draft like any heroes that would be able to catch up with a Tinker even. Although Storm Spirit's still in the pool if Kingdom would like to go for that one. Safe lane Storm Spirit, definitely not unheard of these days. Rather, maybe even preferred in some cases. So, if they wanted to, they could still go for that Storm Spirit as well. Get some proper initiation power, which they so far lack a little bit. Their best initiation method is swap somebody in. And then, of course, it's kind of likely to be a 1-1 exchange in the end, because Magic Spirit might die herself as well. But only 25 seconds remaining now. Both teams taking a really long time just going for the draft here, and it's only halfway through. For Team ImpreZa, I suppose they haven't even gotten to the halfway mark, or it's hard to say. It probably is exactly the halfway mark at this point because they've made 4 bans. But Bristle will be the pick in the end for Kingdom. So just going for even more minus armor, that is a hell of a lot coming out. So if Kingdom do not get shut down early, they may just be able to brawl through Team ImpreZa, even with them having a Zeus Bristleback and build an early mech, for example. Or they could leave the Bristleback to build a pipe and have the Shadowfin build up the mech instead, for example. So they have a couple of options open to them, and it's always nice to have that. Of course, with the Bristleback, their initiation still lacking. So I'm really hoping for like at least one hero to be there to just be able to jump in, create a little bit of chaos as Team ImpreZa now picking up a Lion. Meaning that if Kingdom do want to go for that Storm Spirit still, so with the Lion being there, it's a little bit worse off as a pick in general. 22 seconds for the normal time, only 12 in the reserve though. Both teams having 12 seconds in the reserve time. So Kingdom, not too sure if it was intentional leaving it down to 12 seconds to just tie things up with Team ImpreZa or not. Minor mind games. I just hope that this 12 doesn't indicate now suddenly like a 12-minute first blood. That would suck. But they're gonna go for a Lycan instead. So they have the Bristleback to just tank it up in the front line, zone people away from the towers while Lycan kind of does his job. Vengeful Spirit will also help with that Vengeance Aura, of course, boosting up everybody's damage. Then the Vladimir's offering for bonus armor on themselves. Not that Team ImpreZa for now have a lot of physical damage even, it's just purely magical, I'd say even. Of course, no hero is ever purely magical just because your attacks still do physical damage. Although I suppose like Ancient Apparition, since he has Chilling Touch, well, it doesn't replace your physical component, it just adds magical damage on top of the physical attacks, so no hero is purely magical. You can always attack with anybody. Even techies you can attack with. It's just not gonna have a huge impact. As for ImpreZa, Morphling will be their just core hero to get picked here. I'm a little bit afraid of Morphling's ability to just combat what Kingdom has early on. Waveform is pretty decent. But is it gonna be just enough? Morphling, yes you can waveform, but early on you're not really that tanky, and if you waveform in, for example, or you try to just kill a creep wave, you either have to go towards the creep wave and then waveform towards your own tower or your own base. But if you go in, even like one magic missile with the amount of minus armor the Kingdom can just dish out and the physical damage following, it may be enough, but Kingdom, they could definitely use an additional support, a stunning one. So Witch Doctor just being banned out, that leaves quite possibly a Shadow Shaman. Considering you have a Lycan, going for extra push may not even be that bad. Rubik is... Rubik is never bad, but it's probably not the best support here either to go for. What else could they try to pick up? Nyx Assassin support? Just throwing random things out there now. Spike Carapace could be pretty nice against Finger of Death, for example, if you can ever get it off like that. Vendetta ganks, just getting the Spike Carapace into Batrider, of course, in the Firefly. But Kingdom in the end do go for the Earthshaker, just going for a really solid lineup, and initiation, yes it may be lacking, but it's just a matter of we're gonna come for their towers and what the hell are they gonna do? Team ImpreZa, they need a relatively fast Blink Dagger for the Batrider, and looks like we may have Danny back, calling her now on Skype. So, did things work out for you now?
You have no idea what I'm feeling right now. I'm not even going to describe it to you either. We're just going to continue on with the cast. I'm already disappointed that I missed out on the majority of the drafting phase.
It's only the draft, no big deal.
But everything's determined during the draft. It pretty much tells you how the game's going to go. At least I know what everyone's pretty much picked and in what order.
Well, it's a Zeus support, or at least it's probably going to be, unless they want to run a support Morphling or the Invoker. So
I would be highly against the support Morphling. I don't know if you've seen it. I've seen it a couple of times. It's very different. It can work, but I think teams have yet to discover the extent that a Morphling can really support. Like he doesn't really have any AoE spells to speak of aside from the waveform. Adaptive Strike is a single target spell. The stun's amazing. You could probably use him for those pick-off oriented lineups, but aside from that, if he's not getting farm, what's he gonna do for your team?
It's just, to be honest, I've seen like 3 or 4 support Morphlings within the last month or two, and either 2 or 3 of those have worked out. I think I've only seen 1 support Morphling fail within those. Like I said, the stun duration is pretty massive, but you really need to make sure that the rest of your lineup can then just carry the weight. And now that I think about it, one of it wasn't even a proper support Morphling, it was just an offlane Morphling which didn't get any farm and was demoted to support Morphling.
Oh, I think I casted that game with you, did I? Or maybe I watched your cast.
Could it have been Kingdom themselves in another game? Oh, maybe it was First Departure or Kingdom, I think either of those two probably.
I actually recall an offlane Morphling, and I remember you actually demoting it. So I don't know if I casted with you or if you casted with somebody, but I actually remember that from somewhere.
It just didn't get any farm. All he had is like tranquil boots. But
that was it. Like he just did not. He couldn't transition into a carry role just because he couldn't find the farm, or well, he was demoted.
Yeah, it's a little bit sad when that happens.
Get promoted.
But this game shouldn't be the case because Morphling is heading towards the safe lane with the loadout of the items. Should be a carry one here. But to introduce the lineups, Claire Farron will be playing that Morphling, leaving Zetzi on the Lion with Tian on the Zeus. As NJ takes up the Invoker mid lane, and the last one is going to be Insignificant Me on the Batrider.
On the side of Kingdom, playing in the offlane is going to be Wedding Crash. Very interesting name there. In the middle lane, we have Lee Honky playing on the Shadow Fiend. I'm very familiar with this player, actually. I know Earthshaker. Down the bottom lane, we have Kompaku, well, Yomu Kompaku, wanting to pull the jungle. It's almost time. Here we go. There's going to be the pull. We have a stand-in actually on Eventual Spirit. Their name is going to be Pemakan Dunia. I kind of think I know what that means, but I don't know if I want to say it because it sounds a little bit silly. But lastly, we have Slicks playing on the Lycan. I don't know. I think my pronunciation is either going to be bad or maybe I just don't understand it. But Dunya means world, and I know Makan means eat, but it's Pemakan, so it's kind of like changes the meaning a little bit. It's kind of like eat the world. I don't know.
Okay then. Well, maybe he is like into such things, world domination and whatnot. I don't know. But at this point in time, Slicks getting some decent farm. Of course, Batrider being a little bit annoying, so it's not like complete free farm at the moment for this Lycan here. And the one good thing about the Batrider off lane against the Trial in the Kingdom has is that even if you get blocked out by the Fissure, you can still just Firefly over it as Wedding Crasher. Or Wedding Crash. Gets hexed up as well, a little bit of body blocking comes out, Quill Sprays flying, but with the waveform, Zeus does get that first blood. And just Bristleback is tanky, but not as tanky on the early levels.
Yeah, that was actually some really nice body blocking there from the Lion. The thing with Bristleback is that if you can keep him in place, he doesn't really have an escape mechanism, and if you can just keep him there, just pretty much keep it punching at him, you can definitely take him down. It's not like a Tide Hunter where you can actually have the Kraken Shell to remove any of the slows or debuffs. I don't think a Tide would have actually survived in that circumstance either, but any offlane that has an escape mechanism would have been able to get out of that. And actually, we have Wedding Crash going to try and crash the party here. He will get the kill on the Zeus, couple more right clicks. He's going to try and go for the Quill Sprays. It's actually tanking the tower. He's going to give his life away if he's not careful, and he does die. Oh my goodness, he was going to crash the party, but his own party was crashed, unfortunately.
That was a little bit of indecision there. He like popped the magic stick, turned around for a little while, thought that he can still keep in range, but no boots on the Bristleback. First of all, had he had boots, he probably would have killed the Morphling earlier as well, being able to cancel that healing salve a couple of seconds earlier, and thus just ending up with the kill. So a little bit unfortunate, but it's like an off-lane Bristleback. Although you would like your Bristleback to be farmed, it's not that big of a deal as long as the other lanes are doing well, which they are. Lycan getting excellent farm. Mid lane, Shadow Fiend is ahead of the Invoker as well. Insignificant mid now. Firefly up. Maybe he wants to even go for the kill on the Vengeful. There's the Magic Missile. Will there be enough follow-up? Fissure is there as well. Slicks goes in with, well, one punch. Gets hexed up afterwards. Earthspike as well. Tower finally switches the aggro there. And Slicks, one more attack. Possibly not gonna happen.
Yeah, that was actually a little bit close by both sides, but well, everyone pretty much gets out unscathed. We did miss out on a courier snipe from our Lion actually in the mid lane. So that was a cute little play there from ZC in the middle lane, just sniping up the courier. That means that the Shadow Fiend can't actually bottle crow anymore, and that's pretty big. If you can actually have the Shadow Fiend freely bottle crowing, continuing to pretty much regen himself with HP and mana, then it would have been a much easier lane for him up against the Invoker. But just because he's going to be denied the chance to bottle crow, if he doesn't get those runes, he is going to struggle. Now, it looks like both runes are going to be taken. Bottom rune by the Batrider and, well, double damage rune taken by the Invoker. Yeah, he's going to take that. So, no bottle crow there for the Shadow Fiend unless he TP's back. He's got to be careful. If he overextends, he might get picked off.
It's just, since they probably didn't have vision in the river on the top side, he just didn't even want to go for the rune at all. Could have been an easy double damage for him to bottle up, but lane was a little bit pushing, and since he was low on mana, didn't want to use the last of his mana for the Shadow Race to just push out the lane beforehand. And now NJ doing a lot of damage with the Cold Snap and the double damage rune there. Oh, Bristleback. He's gonna be in some trouble again now. There's the Hex, but no Earthspike. Not enough mana on the Lion. Still might be enough though. A few more attacks, that's all they need. Although he is pretty tanky, but man, that range on the Arc Lightning.
Yeah, it's actually pretty big. So Bristleback, he does go down. He tried to actually use the salve for a quick heal there to survive a couple more hits, but, well, he doesn't survive. So that's going to be, I don't want to call it a waste. It was a chance for him to survive, and if he got out of there, that would have been a beautiful escape, but, well, he dies, loses a salve, and you can't really cry over spilt milk at this stage. He's just going to sit in lane.
So, the Bristleback, 3 deaths already. Is it gonna, like, hurt Kingdom bad by the end of things? Because Lycan is farming, Shadow Fiend is farming reasonably well. Is it they worry that their Bristleback isn't getting enough? Maybe. Who knows?
Sorry, I'm actually a little bit distracted here. What was the question again?
I mean, is it a big worry that the Bristleback is getting kind of shut down, or can Kingdom make up for it with the rest of their heroes?
Well, you kind of expect when you draft a Bristleback. Actually, there is an engagement. Oh, Lion just getting smushed to bits by the Shadow Fiend. So nice pickup for him. But when you draft a Bristleback, you actually expect him to do okay in the lane. He can actually farm the Ancients as well if it's going to be stacked, but it was blocked up just now. But actually, it was dewarded, I think. I saw a sentry there and it's disappeared. So I presume that's either disappeared or it was dewarded. I think it disappeared, actually. There's no sentry. So they can stack the jungle up for the Bristleback and he can farm there, but when you pick up a Bristle, if he cannot get any sort of farm, he actually becomes a burden, because that means that he's not going to be able to sustain during the fights, and Morphling's actually taking a chunk of HP out of him just with the waveform. And well, a little bit more harassment here. Wedding Crash, got to be very careful. If he gets picked up here, it's going to be very unfortunate for him, and very, very nice for the Morphling.
Well, unfortunately for them, Zeus could not follow up, and now Yomo, he's the one in trouble possibly. Does have a Fisher, and they're gonna try to turn things around, but they do stagger their stun, or stack up their stun a little bit too badly, so Morphling gets the one kill. There's the Tornado from NJ to join the fight. They get suddenly 3 kills. Lycan also loses his life. Okay, Lycan got solo killed by the bat.
Yeah, ImpreZa's got a very impressive early game so far. 7 minutes into the game, they've the top. Well, actually, no, they're not farming as well as I thought they would have. Lycan as well, Shadow Fiend are topping the CS charts, but they are getting kills. They're actually 5 kills ahead of Kingdom. They are behind in CS, but I think it's okay for them. They're not behind. They're actually in front, so they're doing okay. They're running a Morphling, so they have a lot of game potential with this Morphling. Keep in mind though, Kingdom is running essentially a dual core. They have a Shadow Fiend as well as a Lycan that can scale very well into the late game. My opinions on a Invoker in the late game, he actually does okay as well, but I feel like he's a kind of hero that just kind of caps out in terms of right-click potential. In the late game, you want to rely on those really heavy hitters because that's where a lot of your damage comes from. Magical damage, it really falls off during the late game, and that's where Invoker's strongest. You want to try and do as much magical damage as you can, so maybe if they want to go... Actually, it's Quaswex, so Invoker's not really going to be outputting much damage. A lot of the damage is going to be from that Zeus and the Morphling. So I think ImpreZa needs this start and maybe hopefully finishes this game by about maybe 40 to 50 minutes. It is... I'm calling 50 minutes a little bit late because Lycan as well as Shadow Fiend will have items and Lycan will potentially go for the split push, which is inevitable with a Lycan. You just have to expect it just because of the Howl.
Yeah,
so I feel like ImpreZa's on a time limit.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit easier for them to accomplish just finishing the game within the time limit now that the Blink is picked up on the Batrider. Just before 9 minutes into the game. It's a pretty nice timing considering you also have the bottle on top of that. Has his smoke prepared, so Lee Honky on the Shadow Fiend, he may be the first one to just taste that Blink.
Yeah, you would definitely want to pick up one of the cores on the side of Kingdom with the fresh Blink Dagger, whether it be the Lycan or the Shadow Fiend. Shadow Fiend probably would be the easier target. Lycan, he has the chance to run away if he can actually survive with the Shapeshift and just run. Whereas Shadow Fiend, he's got nothing like a Yules, he's got no Blink, so he's a much easier target. And actually a smaller HP pool as well. But we'll see if they try and go for the Shadow Fiend. He is going to be a nice target, but will they find him or are they going to find someone else? Bristleback though in the top lane, going to be taken down by Claire Farron. Now, it looks like Lycan is going to be the target down this bottom lane. Let's keep an eye on it down here.
Yeah, Slick's so close to the last as well, so killing him right now would be kind of painful for this Lycan. And ImpreZa, they have some really great farm. I mean, last hit numbers maybe aren't as flashy for 2 of their cores compared to Kingdom's Lycan and the Shadow Fiend, but net worth wise, it's just... they are so farmed on 4 of their heroes. Even the support Zeus has well, quite a bit more than the offlane Bristleback does.
Yeah, well, the Bristleback, he's really been struggling in that offlane. You've seen him die multiple times. He's sitting on a score of 0-4-0, and even if he tries to rotate for his team, he can't provide anything like a Batrider can. Bat, he has the lasso to actually start those fights, whereas a Bristleback, with no items, what's he do? Maybe a couple of quill sprays, maybe when he puts a point into nasal goo just for some armor reduction, but he doesn't really give your team that much. You'd want him to get that fast, you want to get a fast mechanism, a pipe, just a team fight item or a sustain item for the Bristleback to really survive in the fights, but he's really poor and he's going to try and go for a stack Although
Slicks in the
NJ,
meantime gets lassoed up. There's the lightning bolt as well, but no, or not enough mana for the Thunder God's Wrath. Don't think it would have been enough in any case. But that's lasso on cooldown and the hero survives. That's like excellent for Kingdom. That's best case scenario. Or well, best case I guess would be to get counter kills instead. But just being able to survive a gank like that must be a pretty good feeling.
yeah, they're gonna feel pretty good just because the lasso's on cooldown. They're just gonna say it's on cooldown for however many seconds it is, and that's gonna be them telling their teammates, okay, you are free to farm during this period of time because there's no Batrider lasso. That's pretty much what ImpreZa has told Kingdom now. So they're just gonna continue on farming. There's phenomenal farm actually on the side of Kingdom though. The Lycan and the Shadow Fiend are farming very well. Oh my goodness, Insignificant Me gonna really try and bully the Lycan out of the jungle. I don't know if he stole any CS though with that. I don't think so, but very cheeky plays, being a little bit aggressive there. He's got to be careful with that. He could get picked off, although we have an invisible Invoker. He's gonna go for somebody though, he's pretty low. Oh, actually Wedding Crash. Wedding Crash is becoming a very juicy target.
The EMP Tornado as well should be enough to get the kill, or is it Walt the Fisher? A second too late and they must at least get the counter kill. Nope, not gonna happen. Ghost walk up. And well, the patience from Invoker paying off big time.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually like the rotations coming out from NJ. Even though it's a solo rotation, he's just looking for those little squishy heroes to pick off for himself, and I like how he's going in the direction of an Orchid. Very aggressive item to pick up. That means that he's able to go invis and try and go for kills. Oh, actually there was the lasso onto Lee Honky though. There's the Yules, and actually there's going to be the ultimate pop onto a Batrider. He's actually very low, but never mind. Finger of Death going to finish off the Shadow Fiend. Now, unfortunately, Bat, he's going to have to try and get out of there because the illusions are doing a ton of damage. Lion in the backlines died, and actually Lycan died as well. Oh, on that little pile of blood here.
So Lycan also getting somewhat shut down, at least once he starts showing the fights, and now Bristleback again unable to just secure a kill and goes down himself. This Morphling is with a KDA of 4, 0 and 3, only 13 minutes in. Usually that's like Morphling's time to just farm up on the lane and do nothing else, but Bristleback's just been dying top lane. That's 6 deaths on a Bristleback. It's like, what? That is not what this hero is designed to do.
No, it's not. I think they need to actually give the Bristleback a little bit of time to farm up something to really sustain it all. And Jay is going to take these creeps. Very cheeky play, but it's a very smart play just to deny the farm there from Kingdom. Actually, just going to leave the big black dragon.
It would just take him a little bit
pretty
too
much
long.
telling them, screw you. Screw you can have the dragon. Oh, that's probably one of the more annoying creeps, I guess, to deal with in the ancient
It
camp.
does give quite a bit of cold, so that's nice. And Slicks probably is the one to find it. But if you're just Lycan, do you still go towards like a Necrobook and you try to outpush ImpreZa, or do you go into maybe like straight BKB, AC, maybe even like a Armlet?
I've never actually seen an armlet on a Lycan. That would be a first, but I kind of would. Yeah, I've never actually seen an armlet Lycan. Oh, that was actually a very nice ghost walk there coming out from NJ. That was a very close kill there for Kingdom. If they got that, that would have been very nice, but unfortunately they're going to miss it. Oh, our Bristleback dying again. Oh, Batrider getting that with the lasso as well. So lasso's on cooldown. Although in the mid lane there, Kingdom looks like they want to try and go for a push. Is there TPs available on the side of ImpreZa's heroes who are in the jungle? Looks like they do have them if they need to, but Earthshaker going to be the first one to take down the Invoker. So they finally do take down the pesky Invoker. Are they going to overstep their boundaries, or are they going to just continue on?
At the moment, Lycan, he does have the ultimate available, although only level 1, so if you can help it well. Never mind, they're gonna pop it. One magic missile, there's the Fisher first, magic missile, a few more attacks, and they will secure the kill there, so nicely done, using that massive range of the Fisher to just start everything up. And they're gonna hang around for a little bit longer, try to get this tier 2 down, although then again, Morphling is also damaging a tier 2 of his own.
Yeah, it looks like, for the moment, it looks like ImpreZa's trying to out-split push Kingdom. Kingdom's not even split pushing. They're going as a group because they know that if they separate, they are going to be easy pickings for a Batrider, although Lasso's on cooldown. But they still wanted to take down the tower as quickly as possible. And it is one of the crucial towers on the side of ImpreZa. Batrider, though, where is he? He's very low. He will just go TP back to base. But the great thing about taking a mid T2 tower is that even though the bottom one is available and that ImpreZa can still TP in case there is going to be a Roshan attempt by Kingdom, it gets rid of that middle town. That's a lot of their map control taken off the map. So if there's going to be a fight down bottom and they're up top and they've already used their TP, it's going to be very hard for them to reinforce. Whereas if you have that mid tower, you can just TP mid, kind of rotate around from that mid lane to top to bottom. So it's just, I guess it's just annoying. Really, it limits your mobility in terms of where you want to TP.
Well, TPs will be maybe a slightly less of an issue now that there's a little bit of extra mobility picked up by quite a couple of heroes. Blink on Shadow Fiend, but more importantly for ImpreZa, there's a blink on Lion now as well. Definitely not that slow of a one, considering that Zeus still has more farm as a support. And there's a 4-staff on the Batrider as well, so if you blink, get somebody. Oh, but the Yule Scepter with the blink gets the Requiem Soul straight in the face, still alive though, but I think, yeah, he's gonna lose his life in the end. Shadow Rages and a couple of attacks, just a little bit too much. Zeus, they do get the counter kill on the Lycan, so I'd say it's better for ImpreZa in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. They grab the Lycan, who's essentially a step above the Batrider in terms of the core position, and he's got much more farm as well. So shutting down the Lycan, definitely a step in the right direction. If they could, I'm pretty sure they would rather target the Shadow Fiend, but he is very elusive now just because he has the Blink as well as the Yule Scepter. So when they want to try and go for the Shadow Fiend, they really have to stack those stuns, they really have to focus him down or just keep him controlled up. Now, this top tower looks like it is going to be under siege by Kingdom. Is ImpreZa going to reinforce the tower they blink forward? They're going to use the Morphling into the air. He's going to be a very tricky target. Actually going to waveform towards a Shadow Fiend. Now, is this going to be the correct decision? Insignificant Me going to go for the lasso straight onto the Shadow Fiend. So much squishier target, better than the pesky little Bristleback. They do get the kill. Now, Vengeful Spirit in a very dangerous position. She is going to be picked off there in the backlines. Whereas Batrider going to keep on chasing after the poor Bristleback. What can he do? He's got a cloak, but Bristleback just can't do anything aside from the quills. Blink forward there, coming up from our line. There is a Hex as well. Even going to drain his mana too. He will have enough mana soon. Echo Slam. They're going to connect onto 2 heroes. Actually, that was 3. Now they're going to go for the Invoker kill. That's a very nice pickup. And they're just going to back off. Lion, though, I think he's looking for blood, but he's going to be careful. Creeps are coming in. And they're just going to leave at this point. But, well, big win there for ImpreZa. They lose 1, but they grab 2. The Shadow Fiend as well as the Vengeful Spirit.
That initiation, even onto the Morphling, was maybe a little bit unnecessary from Kingdom, just because they had that Requiem Souls on cooldown. So even with the waveform being used rather aggressively by the Morphling and getting deeper into Kingdom, they just lacked the immediate lockdown and the burst to just follow up there. They needed both of the stuns, Earthshaker Fissure and the Magic Missile to follow and the Shadow Race to connect to be able to kill the Morphling. And of course by then, ImpreZa, they were just too close anyway. And is that a BKB finish the Morphling now? Yes it is. So killing this Morphling should be really difficult for Kingdom, unless Morphling just really makes a big mistake.
Or maybe forgets to press the BKB button. I really don't see how Kingdom can actually kill this Morphling now. It's going for BKB. Keep in mind though, this is a defensive item, so Morphling, he's not going to be hitting extremely hard. It's just going to make him super difficult to kill and very resistant to ganks. So it's a good it's a good thing for ImpreZa, but it's also kind of a bad thing because it is going to limit that damage. She doesn't really have anything like like an E-Blade for the burst. He doesn't have a Manta Style for any of this thingy-majiggies, but we are going to see a quick kill in the middle lane. Vengeful Spirit, that was even the lasso used as well. I feel like it was a bit of an overkill just because it is a solo support, but maybe they just wanted the quick pick off to leave, and well, they are going to get rid of a ward, although I hear a Lycan ultimate. Actually, just going to use it to finish up the Ancients quickly. So middle tower going to go down. No one's going to defend it on the side of Kingdom. They are still in the top. I think they're trying to go for a pick off on somebody, but everyone on ImpreZa, they're sticking together as 5. Maybe the reason they picked up the BKB was because they want to fight together as 5. They don't want to separate. They don't want to leave the Morphling to split push, because if he gets caught, they might be screwed.
I mean, their split push isn't as strong though at the moment, of course. Morphling does TP back already. Boots of Travels would be excellent at this kind of a time. Because Kingdom, they will most likely be just trying to split push as much as they can, although I have to say Slicks on the Lycan so far haven't felt any impact at all almost from that hero. Does have a BKB now, so that's the item he went for. Yes, it's nice against ImpreZa. The only thing to really still go through BKB will be the lasso. Everything else though you can negate. But even then it's like, you're not doing that much damage. He needs like at least an additional item before they do much of anything. Although if they get even like 1 pick off, that may just free up Roshan for them.
Yeah, in all honesty, I actually don't think Lycan is. I think Lycan's all right in terms of damage because he's always going to have the crit potential from the ultimate. So he's not too bad off in damage. Obviously, you'd like more with him just because it means that he's going to be more threatening when it comes to that split push, which I don't know. I feel like Lycan doesn't want to split push this game. He wants to go for a more combat Lycan. I don't see anything wrong with it. They do have some good team fight. It just feels like I think the Bristleback really needs some space. He needs some stacks. He needs something. Because he's not really giving his team anything in terms of what he has. I really would like them to give him some space. But he is going to have the top lane himself. Although there was going to be the Zeus ultimate. They're going to go right onto the Lycan. Lycan, biggest target. Not even going to pop his BKB as well. So he is going to go down straight away. Maybe he was just expecting to go down quickly and just saying, I'm not going to waste my 10-second BKB charge. It is going to be for the next fight that we decide. So.
Yeah, he just got lassoed before the BKB, then the Finger of Death came, and by that time he was just really too low on health. BKB most likely would have been his death, just because you have to stand in place for a little while when trying to shapeshift. Oh, the wolf blocked though! Lion gets blocked in and taken out, but Lion's still almost level 11, so even if he dies, it's still been a pretty nice game for the Lion thus far. And the Yule Scepter, there's gonna be a Requiem of Souls channeled up, does miss the timing now. Tornado is there, Fisher and a few Shadow Races, doesn't even need to use the ultimate by the end of things. So they grab themselves 2 pretty valuable kills. Of course, Lion is a support, but a somewhat highly leveled one. And Kingdom, if they just manage to keep getting such trades, it's gonna be fine. But then again, they'll also lose a tier 2.
Yeah. Now, I just took a look at current gold for the moment. We have a Morphling who's sitting at 3.2k gold. He's really pulling up the gold. What do you think he's going to go for? Is he going to finish up the Manta Style? Actually bursted down, Echo Slam committed as well. Morphling's mega kill streak going in the way of the Earthshaker. Earthshaker sitting at 1.1k gold all of a sudden.
Money, dollar.
Oh my goodness. And Morphling back to 2.7k. Do you think he's going to finish up the Manta Style, or do you think he might go for something else?
I think it may be a straight out Skadi quite possibly. Just to kite around the heroes a little bit. Once the shapeshift ends on Lycan, there's like nothing Lycan can do against the Morphling with his Skadi, I think. Just Manta Style doesn't have too many things to dodge. Maybe you can try to dodge that magic missile, for example. That wouldn't be too bad. Get rid of like goose stacks possibly, I don't know. But I think it's probably gonna be a Skadi next. Or could he go for a shotgun?
He could. Oh, actually, he's just picked up the ultimate orb, so it's either going to be a Manta Style or a Skadi. We'll figure it out in a moment. Although in that bottom lane, looks like NJ going to be the target. BKB pops straight away. Yule's up into the air, though. I think the Shadow Fiend Yule's himself there, so a little bit unfortunate there for Lee Honky. Now, a lot of ImpreZa's heroes are here. I think Kingdom, they should just back out. There are only 3 heroes, and they're going up against 4. Now, it looks like there is going to be the retreat. Lee Honky's Blink Dagger is off cooldown. Got to be very careful, but looks like Wedding Crash. He's going to be the target. Oh, ASD. But it looks like everyone on the side of Kingdom manages to get out safely, except for Wedding Crash, who's just going to be turned into a frog and left alone.
Well, Bristleback is... Oh, never mind, Slicks in the meantime. He's going to get dragged to the high ground, and as a Lycan... Well, swap. Thank you, Vengeful Spirit. Without that Lycan, he would have just had to try to TP out. But suddenly he pops his ultimate. He wants to go for a couple of kills. Yule's was already used on Lee Honky. BKB on cooldown from before. He's going to go down to the Soul Burn. And Lycan, is he going to get even 1 kill? Does not look like it. Just running around without like any uptime at all for attacks.
Yeah, and he just went through the creep wave, so everyone on the side of ImpreZa, they know where he is, but looks like they won't be able to catch him. Actually, will they? Oh, they don't. If that flame break was maybe a second or 2 faster, then they would have definitely picked off the Lycan, and that would have been a very easy pickup there for ImpreZa. Because Lycan, without the ultimate, he's a very, very easy target to kill. You have to admit, he's very slow.
Yeah, it's just that was weird in general by Kingdom. They saved the Lycan, but I suppose they got kind of pincered. I think everybody tried to go and help where the Lycan is, and suddenly some of ImpreZa showed up halfway there. So ImpreZa so far 19-9 the kill score. Graphs though only a 3k network lead, XP about 3000 as well. So it wasn't as big, or isn't as big as you would normally expect it with such a kill score, I think.
Yeah, I think the only reason it's so
Morphling?
close... Ooh, Morphling?
No, not gonna happen.
Morphling's fine.
I thought maybe like Blink Echo Slam, but Morphling backed up in time.
Yeah. I think the only reason it's actually still even is the fact that Lycan and Shadow Fiend, they're both farming phenomenally well. If you take a look at their CS, 200 CS on our Shadow Fiend, 25 minutes into the game, 176 on the Lycan. So the two cores on the side of Kingdom, they're farming extremely well, whereas ImpreZa, they've only got one, you could say, real main farmer, and that's the Morphling. Invoker, a lot of the times he wants to be aggressive, he wants to try and grab kills on top of CS, but he actually went for a Maelstrom. So we're going to see a right-click Invoker this game. Not so much Exort yet, but I am presuming that he is going to pump some levels into that Exort, and we are going to see some more damage coming up from NJ, because I really feel like they do lack it if... Oh, I just missed a kill. I actually just saw it. Shadow Fiend picked up.
It happened pretty fast. Just
Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw the jump, and well, he died within 3.5 seconds anyway, because the lasso didn't even end before he was dead, I believe, or maybe it did, but like half a second afterwards was dead anyway. There was nothing to even comment, just lasso, finger of death, little bit of extra burst from Zeus, and this will open up Roshan for them, but definitely not the fastest one, considering they just don't have any minus armor to work with.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, Bat's going to have to cop a lot of the tanking here. Looks like they're going to try and swap it out with Zeus. Actually, if Bat's not careful, we're going to drop down to 100. Actually, he has a regeneration rune, so never mind, he's going to be able to tank up again in a moment. Zeus, unfortunately, just going to have to be smacked in the face for a little bit, smashed as well. He's not going to be too happy about that, but it looks like it's going to be a free Roshan here for ImpreZa. Who do you think they'll put this on? Do you think they'll put it on the Morphling?
Yeah,
I guess they are.
So it's just the most important here on ImpreZa. As long as Morphling stays alive, gets XP, gets farm, they're probably going to be able to really take on late game as well. Of course, Kingdom, they do have 2 farm cores, so that is pretty nice for them. But Invoker's own farming speed now with the Maelstrom isn't all that bad either. Gets the massive attack speed, of course, from Alacrity plus the Wex Fold. Also, did purchase up something? Nope, no, he didn't. But still 2.1k gold. So if he wants to finish the full Mjolnir, gonna be there pretty soon.
Yeah. I kind of feel like he's just going to leave it at the Maelstrom just for farming efficiency and go for another item. He might go for Skadi. We do see some Skadis on Invokers. It's going to make him incredibly tanky if he goes for it, and he's going to go for an Ogre Club. Do you think this is a BKB on this Invoker?
I would think probably BKB rather than going for that Aghanim Scepter, but... I mean, Aghanim Scepter isn't like a horrible item by any means, so might be that one as well. But there are more BKBs coming out on Kingdom. Lee Honky, of course, has had this for some time now. Bristleback, even he's gonna have his own in about 200-300 gold. Lycan has his as well. And Slicks is working towards the AC. Has 2.1k after the Hyperstone, so AC not that far off either. So Kingdom, they are still managing to get some items going, and even the Bristleback, I mean, just being level 14 in itself just means 1500 health with the Ogre Club there and the power, threat and strength. But more important, just 4 points into that Bristleback.
Yeah. Wedding Crash, I think for the moment, he's not really going to provide utility. Echo Slam though, thrown out onto NJ. There was a massive creep wave as well, and looks like NJ's able to get out. No, he's not going to actually be picked off there by the Requiem and Souls by Lee Honky, but he's going to be lassoed into the backlines now. Looks like Lee Honky is going to pay with his life. Actually, it was swapped literally 5 feet away from his teammate, so there was a nice blink out, so he will be able to get out safely, but the rest of his team, insignificant me, gonna keep on chasing after him though, but looks like Shadow Fiend will get out safely, although on the backlines we do have a very angry Wolf chasing after the Zeus. Now this is going to be an easy pickup there for Slicks. Morphling though, he's lost his Aegis, he's going to come back to full. Do they really want to hang around though? Slicks got to be very careful. There are 3 heroes from ImpreZa, looks like they're going to lose their Lycan, so unfortunately for Kingdom, a little overextension there. Lycan hanging around for a little bit too long. Did he have a TP scroll?
Yeah.
Did he have mana?
Yeah, he did.
Mana?
He just... I don't know why he ran there. I think there's no way they didn't know ImpreZa is towards their own side of the base. Maybe he thought that ImpreZa had already backed off and he's gonna be safe running towards his own base, but... This was one of those rare cases where that was not the truth, and Lee Honky now, he's gonna get jumped, finger of death, nice Eul's dodge though. That timing of it, Earthspike also misses, but they still had that lasso to follow up. Although, they may lose Zetsi, they need a little bit more swap to stop the TP as well. They can't make up their mind which one to go for. Sunstrike will not connect. And since the Firefly ends, Insignificant Me cannot really go to high ground that easily, but still has the blink. 4-step coming off cooldown in just a couple of seconds. Oh, BKB dodge of the magic missile. Nicely done, but the physical damage is still gonna be enough. Should have just kept on running, I think. Although, there's the Morphling coming in. Wants to get the support. BKB is popped just before the enchant totem's done. Thundergau's Raft to just kill steal or secure the kill. And now Wedding Crash slowed down by that Skadi finish on Morphling. Morphling even has life steal on top of that. And there's no escape now for Wedding Crash. Even the Sunstrike was used just in case. For one point in time, Kingdom, they weren't looking that bad for that fight, but suddenly Morphling came and pretty much soloed 3 heroes.
Yeah, pretty much, but well, I guess that's what you get when you're going up against a BKB Eye of Skadi Morphling. Typically we don't see any lifesteal on Morphlings, but it looks like we are going to see more of a sustained Morphling compared to a shotgun Morphling. So he's going to be very difficult to kill. When he reaches that critical mass though, I don't see Kingdom actually being able to kill him, even if they're running a Shadow Fiend as well as a Lycan in terms of their DPS. I don't feel like they have enough to deal with a Morphling. They have good cores, but they're not those extremely hard carry cores like the Morphling is.
Yeah, even the Assault Cuirass isn't gonna make like that big of a difference just because Morphling, being a stat-based hero and an agility hero added, just has so much armor to work with anyway. 30 at the moment, but Blink Hex, Earth Spike to follow. Onto Lee Hanki, silenced up, can't even use the BKB, Chaos Meteor, Finger of Death. Oh wow, Lee Hanki just keeps also getting picked off and doesn't really have the items to be like super scary in the fights. Yes, if you find somebody solo, you can like blink duels and try to blow them up with Requiem. But it's past the point where it's like super effective and one-shots people.
Yeah, in fact, if you look at the heroes inside of ImpreZa, who are the last heroes that are going to be picked off by that? Essentially the Lion, he is going to be the easiest target to take down, then there's going to be Zeus. But he's sitting at 1.1k himself, so he's getting pretty tanky too. And especially when Dion actually starts getting more of these items, then he's going to be a not so one-shot target. But yeah, you did in the jungle.
He just waveformed into 2 of them, did have a replicate, so he's going to be fine. If only Yomu had just popped the Echo Slam for that little bit of extra stun duration, maybe could have gotten the kill. But I'm not. They must have had to know that it was the real one just because he used waveform. So there's no way it's like a random illusion there. He's just so tanky by now. 2k health, of course, a little bit of that was into strength morph. But he doesn't really even need to be that highly morphed into agility to just wreck Kingdom anyway.
Yeah, well, if you look at his stats so far, he's morphed a decent amount. So he's got some decent strength to work with. There is a tornado, but no follow-up coming out from NJ. He's just pretty much going to throw out a harassment tornado. Although there was a lasso up in the bottom lane, down in the bottom lane. Slick's going to go down to the Morphling, our Lycan. He's going to have to sit in base and think about what he's done. Oh, ImpreZa. Nice pickoffs though, some great pickoffs so far with the Bat Rider. Even with the Invoker just scouting out the jungle for them. I suppose that's a massive advantage when you run an Invoker. He can just ghost walk into the enemy jungle, and when they're not running any detection, he's essentially a free ward, and he might just find free kills for himself. And especially when he's running with this Orchid Malevolence, any supports that are by themselves are just going to turn to pancakes.
Well, Earthshaker isn't that easy of a kill anymore. Even Vengeful, maybe not all that squishy. But Invoker definitely should still have what it takes. I mean, level 18, Maelstrom helps out a little bit with the damage there, Soul Burn as well. And he's just really, on a scouting mission, like you said, just a moving ward pretty much. And that's another tier 2 going in the favor of ImpreZa there. Although it's only 1 tower difference, Kingdom, I think their game plan just hasn't worked out at all. I do believe they wanted to just have a decent early game and then group up as Now Claire gets stunned, but another lasso. Oh god, there's gonna be a high ground Shadow Fiend. Can't do anything about it. Finger of Death was still used. They do kill the Invoker, but now Wedding Crash slowed down even through the BKB. Slicks comes in, but can he do enough? He's doing a reasonable amount and may even force out the waveform, force the forward waveforming cooldown. 1 second, gets to the high ground, will be safe. Or will he? Yeah, he's gonna make it out. Zeus cannot be said the same. So Slicks and Wedding Crash just turning around and manning up.
Yeah, they both do quite a bit of damage. Like if you look at the Bristleback, when his Warpath stacks actually really start to stack up, he does some decent damage himself. It's up until this point, his main issue has been survivability, and when he isn't able to survive and provide anything for his team, he I don't know, it just feels like.
How is this Bristleback the highest level on their team, by the way?
I don't know. It's Dota. I don't know, man.
Great farming capabilities. Well, he did stay alive through the kills. They only got 2 though. It's a little bit weird. Then again, he has been solo for the most part of this game, so solo XP for the win.
Yeah. Well, at least the bristleback has finally come online, so he's gonna start being a factor in the fights, and that's when ImpreZa, they have to consider who they want to go for the lassos now, and actually, BKB's been popped now. We do have the Morphling. He was being a little bit greedy. They're trying to go for a kill onto Slicks. Luckily for him, he is able to get out, and so was the Lycan, but never mind. Never mind. Zeus. Well, I think I lost Couchor.
It's fine, I'm here,
Fine.
I'm here. But it's just so annoying to go up against the Thunder God's Wrath. If it was like an ancient apparition, at least you can predict the projectile coming and try to dodge it, or maybe if it's like a rocket flare from a clockwork. But Thunder God's Wrath, either you like preemptively BKB and hope that he uses it at the same time, or you're dead. NJ though, he runs into 3 heroes, gonna just silence up Earthshaker, BKB pop, needs a few more attacks, Magic Stick. Ern is there as well, Tornado does help out, but it's not gonna be enough, and Lee Honky just gets the counter kill. Just the physical damage starting to rack up with the amount of minus armor that they have.
Yeah, so nice pickup for them, although there is a lasso onto Lee Honky now. Is there going to be any follow-up? There is a lion. They're going to throw the finger of death as well. Lee Honky turned into a frog, and he is going to go down. BKB was down just because of that previous kill, so they lose their Invoker, but they do get the counter kill onto the Shadow Fiend. It looks like high ground attempt here. It looks like Wedding Crash. He's going to throw the Halberd onto the Morphling, so Morphling's not going to be able to really throw any more right clicks his way, and looks like they're going to back off. It looks like they are going to, for the most part.
So Kingdom, although if it's like a proper 5-on-5 fight and ImpreZa don't get like a immediate pick-off early on, it's gonna be a decent fight for Kingdom, but as we see, they just cannot take such fights, because ImpreZa, they are always the ones just scouting and getting those pick-offs, whether it be with the Batrider jumping somebody or the Invoker. Although Invokers this time around the gank didn't work, even then the like end result was decent-ish because the Shadow Fiend also died. It just ImpreZa's initiation advantage, and somehow they probably have more mobility even as well. I mean, Lycan for example, when did you last see that hero push in this game? It's like Lycan, or really everybody in Kingdom, they've just been farming up. They really had a lineup that needed to get like a decent start and then kind of death ball your way to your victory. They can still come back in the later stages of the game. It's just going to be a hell of a lot harder with such a lineup.
Yeah, it's going to be harder. But yeah, you did mention, and I think I mentioned this earlier in the game as well, that I'm surprised that they didn't actually go for split push, but, well, the only conclusion I came up with was that there's a Batrider, there's a Morphling. If you get picked, like you're going to be an easy picking, especially when you're by yourself, and you never want the Shadow Fiend, you never want that Lycan to be caught up, because if a team fight happens and those heroes are not there, that's going to be a lot of your damage not available for the fight now. Lee Honky going to be the first one to show himself there to NJ now. He's going to use himself into the air. There is a frog. That's going to be Lee Honky. Now they do get the kill onto the Invoker. That's going to be the Aegis already expelled. Venture's already down. Echo Sam going to connect onto 3. They get the Lion as well. Are they going to get anything else? So where's the follow-up? Morphling going to come in through the back line. He's going to try and finish off Lee Honky. They do get the Earthshaker, and they are going to have Wedding Crash. They're going to try and bang onto Clarefront. Now, X gonna be very careful. We're gonna try and go for the bat. He gets a bash. They lucky bash 4-star. Can he finish him off? They're gonna keep on chasing. They will be able to. 3 heroes down on their side of ImpreZa. They get the gem as well. So that's gonna be a massive win for Kingdom.
That was just extreme brute force by Kingdom coming out. They went in, charged at Invoker. Invoker first death, extremely fast. Did have the Aegis. Did opt to give it to him because Morphling kind of stacked on items. Does have the butterfly finished as well. And I really liked it, like, and he tried to like attack Morphling maybe twice. It was like, oh, butterfly, okay, I'm just gonna go for the Zeus instead, because way easier kill. Zeus though, fortunately for himself, did have the Ghost Scepter as well. But Indian Kingdom still come out ahead. They get the Invoker twice because he had the Aegis for the first life. Morphling was also, I think, a little bit late to the party there, or then again, most of ImpreZa was, because they weren't expecting the Invoker to just get ganked as easily.
Yeah. So basically, you said Morphling's pretty much almost capped on items. Would you still suggest that he picks up an E-Blade under the circumstances that you are going up against 2 heroes that deal a lot of physical damage?
Well, considering that they picked up their BKBs rather early on the Kingdom side, they're going to be down to 5 seconds, and once the BKBs end, the E-Blade can definitely do a lot, and like you mentioned, just prevent them from attacking. If it's really necessary, you can even just E-Blade your teammates and make it so that they can't, or they cannot be attacked by Kingdom. So I think E-Blade definitely not bad. First of all, it gives you like a mass amount of agility anyway, which is nice just for right clicks as well. So I think it could be fine, but... Well, considering you don't even have Meta Style finished, you may just drop the Asha at one point and pick up E-Blade if you have Satanic finished first.
Yeah, I don't feel that Morphling actually needs a Manta style this game. I would like to see a little bit more damage coming out of him, because if you take a look at his item set so far, it's got a lot of defensive items. When you pick up a Skadi, a lot of the times you look at it for tankability. Now in the base, so on the side of Kingdom, there's a Bat Rider gonna go forward. He grabs Lee Honky, but his team is actually right outside the base. Never mind, Clairefonn gonna go right forward. He gets the Earthshaker. Requiem has been thrown out now. Morphling, he's by himself, gonna keep him fighting up against Lee Honky as well as Vengeful Spirit, but it looks like he's losing. He gets bashed up, force-staffed down by his teammate, so great plays there from the Bat Rider to get his teammate down, but unfortunately, Finger of Death though, Vengeful Spirit is down, Echo Slam, they're going to connect onto Ferret, and they're going to keep on trying to go after the Morphling. Can they finish him off though? He's still morphing into strength, and he does get out, turned to a frog. Kompaku looks like he might go down if he's not very careful. He will not be able to escape, he's going to go down as well. 2 heroes down on side of Kingdom. ImpreZa though, they almost lose the Morphling, but with a couple of force stuff, they do get him out to safety, and he is going to go right back to base. But first he's going to go for a replicate and then go back to base.
That was a
Or the other way
dieback
around.
from the Earthshaker as well there. He did die early on as well. I mean, Morphling kind of gunned him down, wait for him over a few attacks to follow. And, well, if they just get a few more kills, they may just break high ground rather easily with the Earthshaker not being there for the Blink Echo Slam, and they do get the chomp. Lee Honky will get lassoed up, hexed up to follow. No Finger of Death, but should be enough of a disable. Yeah, there's the Earth Spike, Yule Scepter onto the Lycan. NJ still alive somehow as there's a bash into Insignificant Me. Gets to the high ground, and now Slicks, he's on the run in the wolf form. Gonna try to back up and go for a kill. Well, they're gonna find this support line, or are they? Ghost Scepter is there. Wedding Crash gonna get slowed down as well. Slicks pushed over by the Flame Break and dies while just getting Flame Broken there. Lee Honky wants to get 1 kill, but there's a Blink Hex again. Mana Drain to get the Earth Spike mana. Adaptive Strike. Was it a 3-second stun?
That's a buyback. That's dieback. Lee Honky diebacked.
Wow, that's probably high ground, right? ImpreZa even bought back the Invoker just to get that extra oomph to get the push going.
Yeah, definitely, but I took a look at the fight, and it feels like Kingdom feels like they're getting desperate. If you looked at how they were just now, they were throwing bodies to try and get those kills. And they lose a crucial hero, and that means that it's going to be a potential high ground push here from Kingdom. They do have buyback on the Lycan, but they still need the Shadow Fiend for his damage, and as well as the presence of the Dark Lord aura. So I think for the moment they should just give up these 2 Raxes, hope that ImpreZa doesn't take another set. Although they are taking this one very quickly, they could go for another one. Lycan's going to be forced into the buyback. Now ImpreZa, they still know that Shadow Fiend cannot buy back, and they're actually going to go for a swap onto NJ. Can they get him? They do burst him down though. That was very quick coming up from Kingdom. Now the lasso is thrown out onto Slicks. He is in wolf form, but he's going to run out very soon. Turned into a frog. BKB's run out, so Slicks, very fast frog, going to get out of there. Although in the backline's Echo Slam, Kompaku going to keep the Morphling in place. He actually throws a Satanic, so he's able to heal up relatively quickly, and that's going to be the Morphling out of there. Literally, yeah, he just went.
If they only had Slicks there as well to try to deal with the Morphling, but of course Slicks was dragged out by the lasso early on. And after that, Slicks managed to like kind of bully 3 of the heroes away, but Morphling still survives. But it was a dieback now on Invoker's side. So Kingdom, they may be able to get or force an objective from this. Roshan though, not going to be up at least for another minute and 50 seconds or so. So unfortunately for Kingdom, they can't really go get an Aegis. And I do believe it's going to be the 3rd Roshan of the game as well. So next Roshan, if ImpreZa just get it as freely as they have gotten the first 2, it's going to be a huge problem for Kingdom, because fighting into an Aegis and Cheese while being at approximately 15,000 slightly over XP and net worth deficit, in theory it should be almost impossible, especially now that there's a Hex on the Bat Rider. But Kingdom, they've been holding on. I mean, 1 Rax disadvantage, definitely not enough quite yet for Kingdom to just tap out.
Yeah, well, I want to give Kingdom a little bit of hope here, because if they actually do win a pretty good team fight, and if ImpreZa get a little bit too cocky, don't save up for those buybacks, Kingdom do have a lot of pushing potential in what they have. They have the Howl, they have the Assault Cuirass, they have presence of the Dark Lord, they've got a lot of negative armor to work with. So if ImpreZa loses a big fight, expect them to lose their mid set of Raxes, because this pushing potential for Kingdom, it's there. but they're not using it to rat. I think they're saving it up for that big fight. Now, I kind of liked how they kind of fought in the front of their base, because it pretty much told ImpreZa, we're going to try and hold our base. And we're going to try and throw bodies just to delay it so that the Shadow Fiend can come online, and that's going to pretty much force you guys back. It is risky, but I feel it comes to the point where they're going to have to do a couple of risky plays to really stay into the game, because this Morphling, he's really big, and they're trying to buy space for the Lycan Shadow Fiend as well as that Bristleback to really start building up onto damage, because these heroes, when they're online, 3 cores are definitely going to beat 1. So we'll see if they can hang in there.
That's probably the biggest issue for them, if they can just get those items going for themselves. Just because ImpreZa, all they really need is like one more decisive win of a fight, because buybacks will be on cooldown for another like 3 minutes for the Shadow Fiend, 4 plus on the Lycan. So it's gonna be a really big deal, the buybacks in general for both sides. But I do agree that Kingdom, if they just get Abyssal Blades finished on both the Lycan as well as the Bristleback, that may be just enough lockdown to burst down that Morphling. Although, just chewing through that butterfly is gonna be so hard for them.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And I think the only hero on the side of Kingdom that would pick up an MKB is Lee Honky, but he's so far away from it. So if he's going to pick it up as his next item, if he can get uncontested farm, you could probably see it in maybe about 5 to 7 minutes, more give or take, depending on how he's going. But Kingdom, they're going to be a little bit aggressive. They're going to go up top together, and are they going to go for a spec? They are. Let's see if they find something. If they can win this team fight, then they can take their own set of axes. If they lose this team fight, though, this might be game.
Well, Kingdom at the moment, the angle they're approaching from, they may be able to get the jump, but it's still, once again, them really not having the initiation heroes. All they can have is just Bristleback brute forcing their way through the front lines.
Alright, so it looks like it's kind of ring around the rosy here. Both teams are smoked up. There is an illusion from the Morphling. ImpreZa, though, they should know this. They know it's an illusion, so they're not going to attack it. Well, unfortunately, the smoke does run out eventually. They do kill the illusion. Now, Morphling, he's by himself in the top lane. If his team fights right now, they're not going to have a Morphling for a while, so it looks like they're going to try and go for a stall here. Batrider going to get ready for positioning, but looks like the egg is already taken down. Lycan's going to pick that up. This is a very weird angle if ImpreZa tries to go for the fight. There's going to be the tornado setup. Not really going to connect them to anybody. Never mind, they do get the Venge as well as the Bristleback. Now, they're going to lose the Venge straight away. No buyback available on her. How's the fight going to go so far, though? All these cores, they're trying to group up and go for kills. Batrider going to go down, he gets bashed up. That's going to be the pick-off. Finger of Death, though, thrown out onto the Lycan. He dies, but he has Aegis anyway, but that's going to be no wolf form. Now, Lee Honky going to drop straight away. He's very, very squishy. Now, unfortunately, Slicks, no BKB, no Lycan form. He is so easy to kite. Looks like he's going to die in the backlines. Wedding Crash as well, going to be picked off by the Zeus as well as the Morphling. So there's going to be another one. They lose 4. The only living hero is Yomu Kumpaku.
Yeah, he's just support the Earthshaker. Didn't even get off an Echo Slam or anything. Probably didn't have the correct angle to do so, and what looked like ImpreZa maybe initiating from a weird angle, just decimating that Vengeful early on, and now Claire on the Morphling. He's just doing so much damage, especially they kind of blew up Lee Honky with the Manta style of the Morphling by now. Being 6-slotted, Manta style, even the illusions do hit quite heavily. And this should be at least another set of racks. I mean, Kingdom, they're doing everything in their power to delay things out, but it's just not nearly enough unless really the Echo Slam comes out.
I think they might be able to stall so that they can actually keep their top set of racks, as it's 40 seconds. They will see if Kingdom can actually do it. Wedding Crash, gotta be very careful. He's actually below half HP, so if he gets caught here, he's gonna die. Gonna pop the BKB, gonna try and go onto the Invoker, but look, he was gonna go into 3. Nice swap, they lose the Vengeful Spirit straight away then. Looks like the Morphling gonna keep on going onto the Bristleback. They do get him though. 4 heroes dead, no buybacks available. Yomu Kumpaku, again, the only hero alive. He has the gem. I think this is pretty much game. There's an Echo Slam. They're going to connect onto only 3 heroes, and well, he gave his body away. I think that was a last-ditch effort to save the tower, and well, we have 1 hero left. It's Lee Honky, but there's the GG call coming up from Yomu Kumpaku. Requiem of Souls from Lee Honky, and the BKB as well. Blink forward, Yulesed up, and the Ancient dies.
So they were just maybe a little bit too far behind by the end of things, or couldn't just really get the proper fighting position for their own lineup to work out. So well done by ImpreZa, winning game number 1. And that means the Kingdom, if they don't win the second game, they are gonna go into a tiebreak. So even if they lose both games here, they still have a chance to get into the Division 1 and 2 playoffs. They just have to go through a tiebreaker first. But Kingdom just not a good spot to be in. The win here would have just meant all the pressure's off for Game 2. But Game 2 is where we're going now, guys. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes.